The following program contains political discourse, opinions, and footage that many viewers may find offensive. It should not be viewed by anyone ever.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
As I fight through the battle with the party of death, I take a look at our right and realize they're barely left, cause they've been commies and tyrants so long that even Joe Biden knows it and his mind is gone. But I ain't never gonna stop cause we didn't deserve it. They even took some shots, but you know what I'm made of. They monitor your speech and they track your movements. You better watch your thoughts in case they disapprove it. I really hate to trip, but I got a low. Psycho woke, I duck the bullets and the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my feet, yelling fight, taking shots from the scope side. We've been spending most our lives living in the tyrant's paradise. We've been spending most our lives living in the tyrant's paradise. Yeah, I'm out the Queenside, grew up in Jamaica, now in Mar-a-Lago, but I'm New York forever. My way like Sinatra, that's how I made it here. I can make it anywhere, Trump Towers everywhere. Mogul with the Riz, no, you never really see those. Sip a Diet Coke, grab a Big Mac at McDonald's. Trump building majesty, 40 Wall Street. Catch me at the plaza, shooting Home Alone scenes, cruising down Broadway. Jet black Cadillac, motorcade slow drop, a fortune like Sajak. Build a skyscraper, Bole's Tower, made another billion, it's like a superpower. Used to hang with John, catch me at the Knicks game. Now I'm sitting ringside, MSG all scream my name. Riggers think I'll tap out, they don't know my pedigree. Tell by my attitude that I'm most definitely from You know what the deep state is? Fake and desperate Try to snatch elections and next these right insurrections. Somebody tell me who Donald Trump is. I walk through the swamp of DC where death is. The Capitol Police will leave you breathless. Try to drain it. It's kinda hard getting drunk with prosecutors. Yeah, now check the method. They be making allegations, harass and arrest us. Saying MAGA, all a bunch of terrorists, domestic. Huh? Now we're terrorists? What's the basis? You ain't getting nowhere with your cases. A witch hunt of lies and investigations. My mama used to say, only Jesus can save us. Well, MAGA, you know it's time to move. We counting down to November. We got to do. God showed me the way because the commies trying to break us down. The only thing that I pray is that my feet don't fail me now. And I don't think there's nothing I won't do now to right their wrongs. I wanna walk to God, but they've been f***ing up our for so long. God showed me the way because the commies trying to break us down. The only thing that I pray is that my feet don't fail me now. And I don't think there's nothing I won't do now to right their wrongs. I wanna walk to God, but they've been f***ing up our for so long. So long. So long.
are watching Check the News. I am your host, Megalis Griffiths. In our new time, 10 to 12. So we've got 2 hours here together. Come here, give me a hug. Oh, you look so cute today. Lots and lots and lots to cover. Typically, I do a show, maybe it's about 30 to 45 minutes long. We're gonna get pretty in-depth this morning. And so developing Israel Strikes Back, what this means for the United States of America. And so you're gonna have to flow with us because of course we are live here in Pittsburgh. It's 10:05, October the 3rd. And a lot of this news is just kind of surfacing as we speak. So let's get to it. If you've never watched the show before, this is a show that we do a roundup of a bunch of X posts and we cover them together. We just kind of go through a lot of the different things that are trending on social media and we try to find the truth, whether it's in part or whatever the case may be. All we know is that trust nothing of what you see, but this is, ultimately this is pure entertainment for us. And we'll see if we can get to the bottom of what's happening in the world together. You're gonna have to come to your own conclusions because, of course, we're covering X, so this isn't ironclad. All right, this is information as it happens. Now, has X been on top of their game as far as being a news source? Yes, 100%, and that's what we're doing together. Let's get to it. All right, here we go. Exclusive. As Israeli forces started their ground operation into Lebanon, we were embedded with a commando unit that cleared a Hezbollah position. To cover the story, we crossed minefields and hiked through a dense forest. Our report also covers the toll of the Lebanese civilians. Now, why Lebanon? And so we're going to get to that in a little bit. Just here from Disclosed TV, Russia begins to evacuate citizens from Lebanon, and that happened 3 hours ago. So what's going on that the world doesn't know? Something's happening. Israel seems to have already struck in the midnight hour overnight, and so what could be an alleged Russian base in Lebanon. To cover the story, all right, let's take a look. Play.
Minutes after the orders
Turn
are
it up
given,
on the thing
Israeli
here.
soldiers load into waiting Land Rovers and drive toward Lebanon. Their mission to reach a Hezbollah position less than a mile from Israel. Once near the fence, they cross quietly over the border. The pitch-black night acts as their cover while the mission unfolds. A distant flare, the only source of light. The crunch of branches beneath their feet, the only noise. Arriving at the Hezbollah outpost, they first clear a maze of tunnels and rooms before we enter. Right now, Israeli forces are conducting a ground operation into southern Lebanon. We are with an elite commando unit embedded underground right now. To get here, we walked through minefields and crossed uneven terrain pocked with craters.
You need a
from the
flippin'
Israeli
raise,
bombardment
dude.
of southern Lebanon.
I'm going to tell you right now.
The Israelis have faced a lot of criticism
You
for
need
the
some
air campaign against
bolas
Lebanon.
of steel.
We've seen the rocket
All right, you can
fire
turn me down a
toward
little bit.
northern Israel, targeting many different cities. What's being done to protect Lebanese civilians amid this conflict? We know that hundreds have been killed as a result of the campaign so far.
Our war is not with the Lebanese civilians. Our war is with the Hezbollah. Since the 7th of October, they've been firing almost 10,000 rockets at Israeli civilians. Unlike them, we do not target civilians. We target terrorist infrastructures.
As Israel expands their operation into Lebanon, an estimated 1 million Lebanese civilians are displaced from their homes. And as Israeli strikes against Hezbollah tick up, so does the death toll among the civilian population. The last thing I expected is that our building will be struck, because our building has nothing. It's all civilians inside. This man says at the funeral of his wife and daughter.
Then maybe don't allow Hezbollah to set up quarters underneath your building.
The campaign against Lebanon targeting Hezbollah is necessary. They point to the thousands of rockets that have been fired into the northern part of this country since October 8th, displacing tens of thousands of Israelis. Neil.
Thank you.
I think that that's something that we should healthily talk about. We should be able to discuss the fact that Iran has been striking Israel, albeit unsuccessfully. But how much more can Israel take before they have to retaliate? You're just, say the Iron Dome decides to shut down for whatever apparent reason. I don't know. Who cares? The idea is that they are getting attacked all of the time. Good morning, Kat and Ninja Buddha. Thanks for letting us know about the hot mic. Hot mic, Maddie, and all of you guys watching on Facebook and YouTube. We are on here at our new time, 10 a.m. to 12. All right, next. Justin, Russia begins to evacuate citizens from Lebanon. So that this is coming in from Disclosed TV. So again, this is all happening rather quickly. So bear with us if we're talking about P. Diddy and all of a sudden something happens where we have to kind of switch gears. Have some grace. Next. Tonight, incoming Hezbollah rocket fire in the distance during our live report. Now, this is, again, from yesterday. Play.
Hi, guys. What you're witnessing right now in the distance is extensive Hezbollah rocket fire coming into northern Israel.
Nobody talks about this. How come the media didn't talk about this?
This is one of the largest that I've seen since we've been reporting here from the north. Some of those rockets getting intercepted by Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome. These are live images that you're watching. These explosions in the skies over northern Israel. It gives you a sense of just how this story is developing. One of those rockets just landed. It did not get intercepted. It might have been headed toward an open area. But as we report here along the border, and I'm looking at the alerts coming in on my phone, you can get a sense of it's not just the ballistic missile attack overnight from Iran, but also the ongoing activity coming from Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. We learned today that 8 Israeli soldiers were killed fighting Hezbollah in the southern part of Lebanon. They were in a village when they were ambushed by these Iran-backed militants. According to the Israeli army, 5 of them are soldiers from the Egoz commando unit. 2 of them were reconnaissance soldiers, and 1 a combat medic. And these sirens are still sounding here across northern Israel. I'm just going to take a look. It looks like that initial barrage is over for now. But as we look forward here to the Israeli position and the current security state, not only do you have this incoming rocket fire and the ongoing ground fighting inside southern Lebanon, you have what is expected to be a massive Israeli response to this attack overnight. You saw the photo of Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. He was sitting across from other top officials, including Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and they were discussing how to respond to these 180 ballistic missiles that were launched from Iran overnight that impacted a number of areas of central Israel and also the southern part of this country. And as we look forward here at the current situation on the ground, you have to remember 1 person was killed, 2 Israelis were injured, and the Iranians say for the first time they used the advanced Fatah hypersonic missiles, and they were responding to the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. And those missiles came again as Hezbollah continued their fire. More than 100 rockets launched into northern Israel today, and the security situation remains tense. We do expect more statements from the Americans and senior defense officials telling Fox News today that conversations are continuing between Israeli officials and their American counterparts about a possible Israeli response following that ballistic missile attack overnight. Guys, back to you.
So, Trey, American officials keep calling for a ceasefire, trying to tamp things down. Meantime, it's probably impossible for Israel to let stand what happened yesterday. What's the talk been there?
Pause.
What the possible response?
Good morning. You know what frustrates me more than anything? Maybe I need a different insight, but I never know when your broadcasts are actually live. Chill out. Calm down. You need a more positive outlook. Read some books or something. Play.
Might look like.
The heck? Is that it? All right. So interesting. Next. So much to cover. Breaking. Dozens injured in Iran during celebrations after attacking Israel. That is a higher injury rate than what Israel suffered. 0 injuries. Take a look. Play. Louise. All right, time to depart. Let's go home. Next. All right, more. Iran Supreme Leader Khamenei. Death to American is not just a slogan, it's a policy. Let's see whose death will come soon. Very soon. This is coming from Dr. Eli David. Play.
این مسئله آمریکا و ایران اینی که شما میگید مرگ در آمریکا این یه شعار نیست صرفاً.
Pause.
این یک
I rebuke you, devil. This is horrible. Next. Just in, Kamala Harris calls for a pathway to citizenship for millions of illegal immigrants who she let into the country before choking on her own words. Harris said she would call on Congress to give illegal citizenship. She then admitted that the immigration system under her and Biden was broken, but claimed she would fix it. Play.
And as president,
Morning.
I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years. For years. And deserve to have a system that works. As your president, I will protect our nation's sovereignty, secure our border, and work to fix our broken system of immigration.
Because you broke it. Next. Breaking Israel. All right, let's try to keep everything in line with each other so that I don't get my brain doesn't go wonky, okay? I'm not Pastor Jonathan. I don't have photographic memory, so I have to stay, on one track minded. Hello on the app. Look at those. Oh, my goodness. Elmer, Phil, Siobhan. Woo! That looks so much better on the screen. And then I can see all the emojis, because before it was just kind of like black and white, really hard to see. Good morning. All right, on the app. All right, breaking. Israel has struck. So this is the developing story now. I'm not quite sure how much credibility this has. This is at 4:02 a.m. Israel has struck a Russian airbase. Now, this is where it starts getting a little funky, okay? It struck a Russian airbase in Syria for the first time. Israel attacked warehouses of the Russian Kremlin airbase shortly after the Iranian plane unloaded its weapons for Hezbollah. So again, this is all hearsay until something happens, but this has been trending, again, 1.1 million views, so we needed to share this live. Russian air defenses tried intercepting the Israeli missiles, but failed. Play. So now this is starting to get really serious. You're talking about a Russian base in Syria. And again, this is developing, so let's get moving. Next. Breaking. Israel repeatedly bombed a Russian arms depot in Syria. The dividing lines of World War III are becoming crystal clear. True. Next. Breaking. Israeli missile strike. Same thing. Next. And what do the IDF find in all the Hezbollah tunnels and sites? Russian weapons, a lot of Russian supplied weapons. Make no mistake, this is already a world war. Play.
זה מה שמצאו כוחות צה"ל בדרום לבנון, בתוך השטחים הסמוכים, בתוך הכפרים.
This is why you can't believe everything that you see. So you want us to believe that Russia backed Hezbollah, that this is weapons that were brought in from Russia because you stick a sign in front of the weapons? I'm not quite sure if I'm buying it. Question everything. Play.
Somebody
can throw, anybody can just slap on a sign.
טילים שתכננו מחבלי חיזבאללה לירות על מטוסי חיל האוויר ועל הכטב"מים. אלה הטילים בעיקר, אבל לא רק זה, גם מסמכים, יותר מ1,000 מסמכים מצאו, מפות, דיסקים, מה שנקרא המשט, מסמכים מודיעיניים. יש גם מכשירי קשר, בדקנו, הם לא
Ruh-roh.
מתפוצצים.
Stay away from those.
ואמצעים שנועדו לשלוט במה שקורה בשטח, תיקי חבישה, פאוצ'ים, לוחות סולאריים שאיתם אפשר להשיג אנרגיה בשטח, לא משנה איפה נמצאים, גם בשטח ישראל, משקפות, מצלמות, אמצעי תצפית ואיסוף.
This is wild. Next. Thank you, Susie. Enlarge it so I can read it. Why is Russia allowing a Russian airbase in Syria to be used receiving weapon shipments from the Islamic regime in Iran that are destined for Hezbollah and will be used against Israel? Moments ago, Israel struck warehouse at the Russian Hamim air base to protect itself. So there you go. That's the location of the most recent Israel attack. Next. IDF and ISA eliminate Rawin Mushtaha, head of Hamas government in Gaza. A precision strike. Now, when was this? This was this morning. Let's enlarge it so I can read it. Let's see. Along with two other senior Hamas operatives, Sama al-Siraj and Sami Uda. In a precision strike, this operation targeted a fortified underground Hamas command center in northern Gaza. So they're all over the place, where the leadership has been hiding. Mushtaha, a close associate of Yahya Sinwar, was deeply involved in both the military and civil governance aspects of Hamas, playing a key role in decision-making and force deployment. Hamas did not publicly announce the deaths of these operatives to avoid damaging morale amongst its ranks. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if you're joining Hamas or Hezbollah, it's suicide. Next. Anyway, breaking. Israel bombs the suburbs of Beirut and Lebanon, the areas targeted of Mowad, Al-Kafat, and Saint Therese in the southern suburb of Beirut. And again, this is developing. Play. Probably not the time to be driving around in a moped. Next. Kamala Harris calls anyone a racist if they complain about her open borders. Okay, we're switching gears. So again, if more things develop with Israel, just keep an eye on that for me in the back. All right, take a look at J.D. Vance as he totally annihilates Kamala. Play.
Our message to Kamala Harris is, how dare you call people a racist for wanting to close down that wide open border? Our message to Kamala Harris is, how dare you call the citizens of your own country bad people because they don't want a flood of illegal migration in their country? Kamala Harris, how dare you attack the citizens of your own country for not wanting their children to die of fentanyl overdoses? Kamala Harris, how dare you call the citizens of your own country bad people? You're a bad person for causing this border crisis. We're not bad people for complaining about it.
Okay, JD, next. Tim Waltz used to joke that if Trump built a 30-foot wall, he'd invest the 35-foot ladder to profit off of illegal immigration. This is something that they don't want you to see. Take a look. Play.
I would say this, that I just am waiting to find out how high that wall is, because then if it's 30 foot tall, you can go invest in the 35-foot ladder. There's money to be made here, you know. So.
He said the quiet part out loud. Next. Kamala, today, the United States is a sovereign nation, and I believe we have a duty to set rules at our borders and enforce them. Grasping at the straws at this point. Kamala's last month, I will close immigration detention centers on day one. Which one is it, lady? Play.
There are consequential issues at stake in this election. And one is the security of our border.
Dude, you've had 3.5 years.
The United States is a sovereign nation. And I believe we have a duty to set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility very seriously.
No, you don't. You've been to the border twice. She's a looker. Good Lord.
My name's Sally Hartman. I'm a volunteer with the Center for Worker Justice. I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one. Please.
See about that.
And thank you for...
Next. Yeah, Bobby. Breaking new footage released of gang members terrorizing Aurora, Colorado. Their immigration status is unknown. So I know that there's a lot of talk about the debate and now about FEMA, which we will cover in a minute. But I also wanted you not to forget what's going on in some of these immigration-ridden or migrant or illegal alien-ridden cities of America. Take a look. Play.
Shots fired along a road, even out of a moving car. Investigators believe the people in the cell phone video were behind a number of unsolved shootings in Aurora, Lakewood, and Wheat Ridge. Their crime sprees, police say, were becoming more dangerous.
All four of them were working in concert together to perpetuate violence over and over again.
Aurora police say they arrested 3 18-year-olds in connection with the shooting seen on the cell phone video for attempted first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, as well as other crimes.
Lord have mercy. Next. Imagine having to shine a mirror at a random helicopter in the sky to try to get food for your family. That's really what's happening to some people right now. So switching gears, I know that we haven't covered much about North Carolina, but it's going quickly from bad to worse. Take a look. Wow. What's going on in North Carolina? Where is FEMA? Next. My pastor friend is boots on the ground in North Carolina today, Asheville Lake, Lure, and Chimney Rock. They saw zero government help. Relief is 100% volunteer run. The federal government can you enlarge it, please, for me? The federal government should fill the sky with helicopters running rescues every minute. People are literally up to their armpits in dirty water in their houses with no way to get out. Think you have kids, animals, elderly parents that live with you with a 10 feet of water all around your house. Think of people on oxygen, needing medication. There is no urgency from the government. Thank you, Pastor Todd, at Faith Advisory. Our government has failed us again. Take a look at that picture again. Heartbreaking. That's crushing. Next. Kamala finally gets around to doing her hurricane photo ops. Take a look. Next. Hello, Holly. How to develop a devastated and forgotten country in North Carolina. Some of you may have already known, but my heart is heavy this week. My wife's hometown and county have been devastated by the flooding in North Carolina. Her county, Madison County, is a very poor and underserved area. This is coming from Bill Parkhurst. Next. This flood has been absolutely devastating, and there has been little help from the federal government. Even FEMA has informed local authorities that they will not be able to assist for weeks. Much of the supplies are being sent to Asheville and staying there. This leaves Madison and Yancey counties primarily reliant on grassroots efforts. Locals are using helicopters, ATVs, and even mules to bring supplies to remote, isolated areas. Fortunately, my mother-in-law, who is not only the CEO of the only healthcare organization in Madison County, but also a community leader, is on the front lines working to provide healthcare and supplies to those in need. Next. Her organization, Hot Springs Health, is a 501c3 nonprofit. She has created a donation mechanism to get mechanism to get money directly in the front lines. 100% of the money will go to the community, unlike larger organizations like the Red Cross, which take a big piece. Let me tell you, Red Cross, FEMA, total garbage. Due to the nonprofit status, donations are eligible for tax donations. Below is the Zephy donation link. Next. The government always has money for Iran, illegals, sex changes, and Ukraine, but always seems to have empty pockets when actual citizens need help. This is the Democratic Party now. Never forget how they betrayed us. America last, ladies and gentlemen. America last. Anyways, FEMA says they're out of money. Also, here's 107 million FEMA grants to New York for assistance to illegal immigrants. Do you remember this when we're talking about in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, some of those illegal immigrants were receiving little EBT cards filled with money between $600 to $1,200 per person. So if you're wondering why is America last? Remember that on voting day. Remember that in November. Okay, next. FEMA is broke, this is coming from Cernovich. FEMA is broke, according to Alejandro Mayorkas. Treason. It's absolute treason what is happening in North Carolina right now with FEMA. They gave over $380 million to illegal immigrants and human trafficking NGOs. Pull it up. McAllen, Texas, the Department of Homeland Security has distributed millions of dollars to nonprofits and community. Listen, anyway, we won't even go into it. Nonprofits and communities that assist the migrants the agency releases, despite previous concerns about how much of those funds are being used. U.S. seeks to have lawsuits over agency accused of whipping Haitian migrants dismissed. Okay, DHS on Wednesday announced the allocation of over $380 million to various entities nationwide throughout the agency's shelter and service program. The program is administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency in partnership with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Next. The Secretary of Homeland Security says a major concern in funding if another hurricane hits. And let me tell you, isn't there another hurricane brewing now? We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season, said Alejandro Mayorkas. He says it's not a political issue. I beg to differ, and that there must be funding to deal with the future events. These extreme weather events are increasing in frequency and severity. And again, I would say to Mayorkas, it is hurricane season, okay? That has never changed in the history of the United States of America. So I think he's deflecting. Let's talk more about where the FEMA money has gone. Where is it? Where did it go? Next. Federal agencies, management agency grants 2023 amount $106 million. Recipients, New York City's Office of Management and Budget. Purpose, shelter and service program for migrant assistance. That's a whole lot of money. Continue. I don't know what this is in regards to. I'm in Pennsylvania. It will go solid red. This is October 2nd. Elon Musk was apparently in Pennsylvania. What were you doing in Pennsylvania, friend? It'll go solid red. This isn't a dummy. This is Elon Musk. Let me tell you something. Never before, I think this week, if I'm being totally transparent, I'm not, here at Revival Today, we preach against this. Don't hoard, don't store up your goods. Just stop, We believe in the God of more than enough. Amen. But now this week, I'm not even going to lie. Getting an electric car seems really like a really good idea, like a really super duper good idea. You got the dock workers shutting down imports and exports, and then you have potentially Israel bombing Iran, nuclear sites allegedly. Not quite sure if that's going to happen, but if that happens, then the oil refineries go down with 25% of oil being basically shut down. So, those prices are going to start skyrocketing. Never before in the history of my life have I thought that a Tesla would be a good idea. I'm thinking about it, Elon, though. You know what I'm saying? I ordered Starlink early this week. Again, I'm not a hoarder, but it is the sign of the times. Next. Breaking report, CNN reveals Trump is now tied with Harris among young voters in Michigan. This is jarring, to say the least. Play.
How is Vice President Harris performing with young voters compared to how President Biden did in 2020?
Oh, some numbers, Anderson, to help with that question. Number one, just look at this choice for president. I want to stretch this out a little bit. Excuse me for turning my back. This is from a recent New York Times Siena poll. It shows Donald Trump and the vice president tied among voters aged 18 to 29. Joe Biden carried that group by 24 points in 2020 in the exit polls. From being on the ground, remember, when you poll a smaller subgroup in a poll, there's a bigger margin of error. I can't quite believe it's a tie from being on the ground several times in Michigan, but there's no question the vice president is doing better than President Biden was doing earlier this year, when a lot of young voters didn't want him to be the candidate anymore. But she's not doing as well as he did back in 2020. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Hey, come on, youth of America, let's go! Next. Virginia GOP Senate candidate Hung Cowell's answer to the U.S. military's recruitment problem is a must-watch. Let me tell you something. The U.S. military's recruitment is going to be a thing that needs to be discussed a little bit more. There's a litany of reasons why. But this guy I never heard of him before. I think he started trending even last night. And so listen to what he has to say. I'm talking about, listen, for years now, we've been force-fed this narrative about toxic masculinity, and now masculinity is something that America hungers and thirsts for like never before. And this is part of the reason why this guy is trending. Play.
When you're using a drag queen to recruit for the Navy,
he's not lying.
Not the people we want. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win wars.
Oh, okay. One more time, because this guy brings life. Go ahead, play it.
When you're using a drag queen to recruit for the Navy, that's not the people we want. What we need is alpha males and alpha females who are going to rip out their own guts, eat them, and ask for seconds. Those are young men and women that are going to win wars.
What a guy. What a guy. And let me tell you, that's the kind of leadership we need, all right? We're headed into what seems like World War III. Do you want a man wearing makeup at the helm of your Navy? No. No, you don't. You want alpha males, like he said, alpha females. I'm not quite sure how he comes up with this, that are willing to eat their own guts and ask for seconds. I mean, dang. That's a persuasion masterpiece, by the way. Just because of the imagery. I mean, by golly, the guy is a G. Next. Breaking federal judge rules deep fakes are protected under First Amendment in blow to California law. Whoop, whoop! Gavin Newsom, take that. Boom. Do you remember how he wanted to outlaw deepfakes and memes because his feelings were hurt? Huh? So the First Amendment is under extreme scrutiny here with the Dems. So we got to keep an eye on this. Next. Here we go. Made this in honor of Gavin Newsom's BS disingenuous deepfake. Play. Not illegal yet. Next. Lots of truth to this. Sell Waltz, buy Vans. Take a look. Let's go, Pelosi. Smart. She's been MIA recently, huh? I haven't seen a lot of her. What's going on? Next. Where are you at? The new right. Look at this on the cover of Time. Holy, the invention of J.D. Vance. I'm not quite sure if he reinvented anything. This guy has been a G. him and his little eyeliner or whatever. Like, this is fantastic. This is what the world needs now. What the world needs now is some J.D. Vance leadership. Amazing. Next. New, Tim Walz is asked to clarify his comments about being friends with school shooters, says he is passionate about the topic and is friends with David Hogg. Reporter, can you clarify your comment of the school shooters? Let's listen to what he has to say because he continues to be asked about this. Next, or play.
Do you want to clarify the comments that you made about school shooters?
So I've become friends with school shooters.
Yeah, and look, you got to see me. These folks know me. I'm super passionate about this. The question come up about school shooting. We're talking about everything except school shootings. And I sat as a member of Congress with the Sandy Hook parents, and it was a profound movement. David Hogg is a good friend of mine. You have seen me do this. I was talking about being people where there are school shooters, and I need to be more specific on that, but I am passionate about this. This one, for my wife and I, is just, as teachers, as parents, is so personal.
All right, next. No one behaves like this. Take a look, play. Give me the alpha males. Give me all the alpha males. Next. All right. MSNBC invited an anti-Trump impeachment witness to bash Trump over his threat to democracy. Let's see what he said. Play.
A no for you after that. Why was it important for you to say no more Trump because of his January 6th conduct? And do you stand by that?
No, I don't stand by it, and I'll tell you why. I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies, and I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
So when you,
and it has to. No,
so
no,
Ambassador,
no.
this is, I'll let you finish, but
No,
this
I
is
want
so
to finish.
striking. You said it was a no for me after that, after January 6th.
I did.
And here we are right now.
I did.
And you're saying it's a yes for you.
It is a yes for me. It is an absolute yes for me.
Wow.
That is how badly
Welcome to the other side.
the Biden-Harris team have prosecuted their job.
But the whole point you seem to be making was that January 6th and that kind of attack on democracy is bigger than any policy.
I am seeing so many attacks on democracy that eclipse January 6th.
So I want to ask Sarah,
if
here
you
we
want to
all
ask
are.
me what those are, I'm happy.
He did it. I'm sure of it. He said, if you want to ask me what those things are, I would be happy to. And they just moved right along. Right along. Bravo. Hey, will you get me that guy's name to see if I can follow him on social media? I just want to see what he's talking about, or like what he's all about. Ambassador or something. Next. Boom. Once they retire, they no longer are owned by the machine, so they can say what they want. This is a quote from Donald Trump Jr. Over 200 retired generals and admirals endorsed Trump for president. Our national security and personal safety are at stake. And let me tell you, especially in this week, it feels like that. It definitely feels like that. Our national security and personal safety are absolutely at stake. I would like to see some of the names that are on there and where I could find them. Femina, can you take a look? Next. Breaking, Trump says the reason he is not doing an interview with 60 Minutes is because he would like an apology for their claim that Hunter Biden's laptop was from Russia. Let me tell you, this is an exquisite response to this request. The request was allegedly from 60 Minutes that said that they were going to ask him questions and then break away to fact check if necessary. And so he responds, I'm not doing it because you claim that Hunter Biden's laptop was from Russia, which turned out to be false. So this was just an excellent way to deny this request for an interview, I think, because at the end of the day, talking about misinformation, I mean, they need to come up, they need to make and rectify what they said about Hunter Biden's laptop, but they won't, so they don't deserve a an interview. 60 minutes. Let me tell you, Kamala said yes to this interview. We'll see what that looks like. Next. All right, exclusive. We're going to switch gears here to P. Diddy. Now, I know that Pastor Jonathan had mentioned about a billboard that we are going to be pulling. Do we have that artwork yet or no? So the billboard, refresh my memory. What did the billboard say? He said, come to Revival Today Church where the pastor isn't named in this list of whatever it is. I can't remember. Timothy, do you remember what the billboard is supposed to say? I can't wait to see it. I believe it's only going to be in Texas, correct? Because, yeah, for both campuses, so in Pittsburgh and in Texas. Oh, help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. Powerhouse attorney Tony Busby, unfortunate name, just announced 120 people are filing lawsuits against Diddy and others for sexual abuse. 24 of the victims are minors as young as 9 years old. At Tony Busby 2 tells Primetime the list of Diddy's accomplices are people you all would recognize, and he's ready to name names. We're talking celebrities, record executives, banks, hotels, and more. So we're gonna watch this. Now, come back to me for a second. I'm sure Tony Busby isn't suicidal at this point. But you have to start wondering, who are the names? Now, 120 people are filing lawsuits. 120 people. So what in the Sam Hill is going on? And at this point, there's a bunch of different things, a bunch of different rumors online. And of course, you know, people are innocent until proven guilty. But this is something that we have to keep our eye on. Is it a distraction? Not quite sure. Either way, what we know is that Diddy is a freaking scumbag. Let's play.
Since the day Diddy was indicted for sex trafficking and racketeering, we've been warning you he's just the tip of the iceberg. Today we're being told a list of Diddy's accomplices will drop very soon. Powerhouse attorney Tony Busby just announced that more than 100 people are filing lawsuits against Diddy and others for sexual abuse. 24 of the victims are minors, one of them as young as 9 years old. Diddy allegedly used the promise of a record deal to lure that young victim to his recording studio, where the child was assaulted by Diddy and several others. Diddy's team says the allegations are meritless, but Busby says his upcoming lawsuits will be naming names.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. The names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels.
This string of lawsuits could shake up the top levels of corporate America and Hollywood. Another lawyer says some of Diddy's secret sex tapes are being shopped around. The tape features an A-list celebrity who doesn't seem to realize they were being recorded. Tony Busby is one of the attorneys representing over 120 Diddy accusers. Well, Counselor, thank you for taking this case. This is very important, and we need justice served, especially now that we're hearing there's a victim as young as 9 years old. Are you kidding me?
9, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're talking about 25 people so far out of 120 cases that we intend to file. I would expect there'll be a lot more cases than that. Let's not forget, we're talking about behavior that took place over more than 25 years, all over the United States, but primarily in New York, California, and Miami.
And some of these names that I guess will be coming out, who allegedly aided and abetted Diddy and his twisted little escapades, Are these names that I would know, that people would recognize? How high is this going up?
Certainly names that you would recognize. And let's think about the kind of people that would be involved in this. People that would be in the room, that would be facilitating this, egging this kind of thing on, encouraging this, participating, venues that were participating, sponsors, hotels, banks. Let's remember that a lot of people were being flown in from across the country and paid in cash. Obviously, that cash had to come somewhere. There had to be some explanation for taking out that much cash from the bank. We already know that there were a lot of drugs in play. So this
and a lot of baby oil.
There are many facets of this. There are many people involved. There are many entities involved. And, the ones that really irk me, there's been a lot of focus on, well, who are the celebrities? Who are the celebrities? What I'm more focused on, obviously, to the extent there's a celebrity that it occurred at their house or that they were involved or participated, they will certainly be named. But what really irks me are those who profited off of this culture that was created.
Come on.
And that just essentially ruined hundreds of lives.
And we're talking banks, we're talking record executives?
Record companies, other companies that were sponsors of some of these parties and after parties, clubs, hotels, you name it. This conduct was, this wasn't an annual party. This individual allegedly was partying 3 or 4 times a week, and these parties were wild. They were beyond your imagination, and they were nasty. And there were a lot of things going on that should not go on, and a lot of victims that were being subjected to exploitation and all kinds of sexual conduct that people just should not be subjected to.
All right, well, hopefully more people, alleged victims, come forward and we get the full accountability, because we want everybody who was complicit in this to pay a price if they were. Busby, thank you so much.
What do you think? What's going to happen? That guy needs bodyguards, that's for sure. Is Diddy going to be suicided? Just never know. Next. Jay-Z, all right, so then Green Lives Matter. This is something that I pulled up that was getting some clout on X. Jay-Z might be the next to fall. Jaguar Wright just told Piers Morgan that she has hundreds of victims of Sean Carter who are ready to talk, and that Jay-Z and Beyonce are a nasty couple who have kept people against their will. She says Jay-Z funded the campaign to get rid of R. Kelly because, listen, I hate to read this kind of stuff, especially in light of Israel and Iran, but too many people have been asking about this. So bear with me. I don't like it either. Jay-Z apparently is complicit. Next, Gayle King, as you know. Okay, let's take a look at the actual interview with Piers Morgan. Now, remember, this lady, Jaguar Wright, which is a singer, rapper, I would assume, I think she writes songs. And so she's been a part of the industry for a really, really long time. And she has sounded the alarm on so many different stories, and she hasn't been wrong about any of them. Take a look, play.
He's just the beginning. Until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally, the victims, they're not safe. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job.
By who?
He's the Judas.
Do you think that if he's cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy. The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the Black community, still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it.
Next. All right, this goes far deeper than people realize. Here's Jay-Z with the spirit cooker in Julian Assange's WikiLeaks. Mariana Abramovic is an essential tie between many of these players. These people are sick. The world will find out. Let me tell you. Do you remember her? We covered this in 2020 with Epstein. And so she was a spirit cooker. And so it's just so insane to me how things play out. Let me tell you, nothing that is done in secret, all right, stays hidden. It always comes to light. So this is very bizarre that now the kind of like the tide is turning. We're moving out of Diddy into Jay-Z and Beyonce. Play. It's not demonic. Ladies and gentlemen, she's got passengers. Look at him. He's not far behind either. What is that? What is she riding with? Look at all these people. Totally oblivious. What in the literal hell? Golly. Ooh. Gross. And yet people want to listen to who these people endorse. Isn't it interesting that Kamala walks into Beyonce's music at every single one of her rallies? Coincidence? I think not. Next. Here is Jay-Z in a do what thou wilt sweatshirt. This is a direct quote from one of the most infamous Satanists to ever live, Aleister Crowley, who fully believed in and practiced the sexual occult magic. The NPR in 2009 attempted to brush it off as not a big deal, but knowing what we know now, this is absolutely no coincidence. Next. All right, Kim Porter. So the wife of Puff Daddy, this is something that I've kind of been paying close attention to because Kim Porter passed away a while ago. And some of the, anyways, I'm not even going to bore you with the details, but she wrote a book before her passing. And so let's take a look at what this book, by the way, Amazon just pulled it off of their shelves. They just pulled this book off their shelves. So why? Why? Take a look, play.
Okay, we're finally here. Chapter 19, finale. Things were okay for a while. I started dating again. It was almost normal until I got serious with someone. Then my boyfriend died. Of pneumonia. I knew it was Sean. Again. That's when I decided to write this book. A few days ago, my home was burglarized. Only laptops were stolen. I know it was that bastard, or his goons. Of course, I had a copy in the cloud that I was able to easily download here onto this new computer. As I continue to write now, I'll send this into the cloud as well. I will send out copies via email, and my Google Drive password will be attached, so the missing chapters can be accessed. This book must get out. There are so many more chapters to add. This outline is a great start. I have to organize the rest of the chapters and add them in little by little.
Pause, real quick.
On spending today.
Do you know how she died? So it's interesting that she said, my boyfriend died of pneumonia. I knew it was Sean. Again. She died of pneumonia. Play.
Working on exactly that, but I'm not feeling very well. Thank God the kids aren't here this weekend so I can rest. I called Kimora to cancel our tentative plans for a meetup. When I spoke to her, she said, "Girl, that does not sound like the flu. You want to go to the hospital?" That didn't immediately alarm me. "I just need some rest," I told her, and quickly got off the phone. But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up the phone? Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom, where I'm lying in my bed. All I could think about was the kids, my babies, who are there with this monster, the man that I now suspect of having done this to me. Sean picked up with an air of superiority in his tone that let me know it was too late for me. He spoke confidently into the phone. "Hello?" I screamed at him. "You bastard, I have your fucking children."
Oh.
What are
Next.
you talking about? The kids are with me.
All right, listen. Our apologies. That should have been nixed in the back. Someone's getting fired. I think I have to say that legally. All right, so listen. Those books were taken off the shelves, and apparently Sean Puffy Combe and his wife, their kids said that it was a fake. It was that she didn't actually write that. But I think it's very telling. Why does Amazon pull it off their shelves? And then, of course, the timing of all this isn't coincidence. Candace Owen breaks it down. Explosive allegations emerge in the Diddy case. Take a look. Play.
Porter alleges that when she discovered those videotapes of Sean and his sexual encounters in the bedroom in this vault, she made copies of them as protection for herself. Realized that this is a very dangerous situation. I'm going to make copies for protection for myself, and included it as a part of her plan to leave him. But the memoir says that when she watched back the tapes, she was so shocked because there were things, quote, "Some of the tapes had things I would have never expected. The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys, like the two hip hop stars formerly managed by Diddy and the then 18-year-old pop star, I would have never known." The book publisher is claiming that it was the friends that gave him this thumbnail, the friends that provided this memoir. The friends also provided copies of these alleged sex tapes so that he knew that it was legitimate. And the final entry of the memoir from Kim Porter, before she mysteriously got pneumonia and didn't survive it as a 47-year-old, is her dramatically telling her friends, quote, "He got me."
That's so strange. That's so strange. Next. All right, here we go. Reports. Sean Diddy Combs is accused of abusing children as young as 9 years old with promise of launching their careers in the entertainment industry. Texas-based lawyer Tony Busby is reporting 120 accusers in new lawsuit. The accusers are split by gender and include whopping 25 minors. Diddy allegedly abused the kids who were seeking TV or music careers with promises from Combs of "I'll make you a star." Busby suggested that many high-profile individuals are involved, which will shock the public. "We will expose the enablers who enable this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates." Now, a newly resurfaced video, which isn't really new at all, is circulating the World Wide Web. Take a look.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go buck crazy.
I'm going crazy.
When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred,
Golly.
It's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Jesus, take the wheel.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024.
Golly.
If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct.
Download our new app. Listen, before we get into this, because of course, you know, Denzel Washington storms out of Sean Diddy Combs, party because he probably has a conscience. Our biggest app update. Listen, if you have not downloaded our app, now is your chance. You can get it on 2 platforms, Google Play or the Apple Store. And this, I'm going to tell you right now, it is such a beautiful app. Very cohesive, very easy, like very user-friendly. The interface is nice and it's just so stunning. So if you haven't gotten your phone updated, here are the ways that you can update your phone. Now you need a new password with this new mobile update. Open the App Store on your device and tap Update for the Revival Today app. 2, go to the email associated with your email, or rather with your Revival Today Global broadcast account. 3, look for an email with the subject line, update your account. If you don't see this email, be sure to check your spam folder. 4, follow the instructions provided in the email to reset your password. 5, once you've reset your password, sign into the new and improved Revival Today app and enjoy it. So we also have this beautiful, all of our comments are streamlined. Susie, Alicia, Jay Veals, 24, Danny Boone, 89. We see you. Here you go, scan the code, because listen, we're gonna do our best to not get stifled on social media, okay? But in order for you to, just in case we do, you want a backup plan, and here's our app. This is 24 hours of content. And so with all the different services that Pastor Jonathan and Pastor Adalis are having, we need like a go-to app where you can easily access all of the fan favorites, all of our partners' favorites are right on that app. It's super awesome. Can't say enough about it. Next. All right, join us at our church. That's right, we are a ministry located and based out of Pittsburgh, but we have sister campus in Fort Worth, which is, last night was a blowout service. We're gonna give you a little bit of something about, to kind of cleanse the palate, if you will. We have a testimony ready to play because Fort Worth last night with Pastor Paul Anici was straight fire. How many people were there last night? 1,200, 1,300? Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So if you live in Pittsburgh and the surrounding areas, come on over, join us for Sunday morning service at 10 a.m. at 1442 Coriopolis Heights Road in Moon Township. And if you're in Fort Worth, we meet at 7200 Denton Highway in Watauga, Texas. So at 9 a.m. every single Sunday. We would love to have you. In fact, there's a lot of our church goers that are watching today. Bobby, love you guys so much. All right, next.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm in Louisiana.
Pause.
And
come back to me.
At 9 years old.
So again, you don't really know much about Check the News, but we are a ministry, and the first and foremost, before we became a church, we were an evangelistic ministry. And so Pastor Jonathan and Pastor Adalis at the helm of this. And so they would go and tour all of the United States and Africa as well. And Europe, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, and India. So and the list goes on and on. And so this is a miracle testimony from one of those services. And so again, let's cleanse our palate. I know that this is getting really kind of dark and dreary in the news, but let's shine some light onto in the world. All right, let's take a look at this powerful testimony. Play.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm in Louisiana. And at 9 years old, I was told that I would never have kids. I started having surgeries, and I've had about 14 surgeries that have taken my right tube, right ovary. The left tube is completely scarred up, and I have hardly a fourth of my left ovary. So I was told there is no possible way except IVF. Once we did IVF twice, we did not go back because we were told that it just wouldn't work anymore. We went to the Festival of Life in 2017 here in Plaquemine, Louisiana, where Jonathan Shuttlesworth was, and he spoke out into the crowd and he kind of leaned towards my direction and he said, there's a woman here who was told that she would, I'm getting goosebumps, who was told that she would never have babies.
I also believe at this altar, there's a lady that because of how you lived before you got saved, things got messed up on the inside of you, and they told you you had like a medical episode, and they told you you'll never be able to have a baby again.
And she has hardly no female organs or no female organs at all. But I'm here to tell you to stand firm, stand in your faith that you will have babies, that God will bless you.
But as proof that God has saved your soul, God recreates your ovaries, your womb, and your uterus, and you'll have as many children as you like once you get married. In Jesus' name. That's a fact.
The next year is when I got pregnant with my first baby after trying for over 14 years for a baby. 2 years later, I got pregnant with my second, and 2 years later, I have my third. Three miracle babies when I was told I'd never have any, with hardly any female organs. Like Jonathan said, don't give up, have that faith. I lost that faith until I heard him tell in that congregation and towards me to stand firm and don't give up, have that faith. Faith in the Creator, faith in the one who created you. He created you and he will give you what your heart desires, just like the Bible said. I finally got that faith back and God blessed me. He will bless you too.
Man, hey, man. All right, and at the halfway mark, I wanted to make a bid for you to partner with us, okay? This is a nonprofit, and we are a ministry, like we said. And so with your partnership of any dollar amount, you get a free gift as a way for us to say thank you. And so these T-shirts are a hot commodity, let me tell you. I know that our T-shirt company is being overworked at this time. But look at all of the different options as a way for us to say thank you. Get you some. I become friends with school shooters. We've got this one, which is sure to turn some heads, all right? This is a great gym T-shirt, I think. Take it to the gym, enjoy. Here are the ways for you to give before we get into the second half of the show. Zelle, we've got Venmo, we've got Revival Today on PayPal. You can hashtag donate on Facebook. You can text RT to 50155. We've got a litany of cryptocurrencies that you can donate. You can also scan the code or go to revivaltoday.com/give for all of the pertinent information. You can mail in a check. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. Please don't forget this very important, very vital part is to go to revivaltoday.com/offer, fill out the form, and select your free gift. And of course, everything is while supplies last. But again, revivaltoday.com/offer. Let me ask you guys, is Bank of America up and running again? I know that last night there wasn't really much of, we tried to give you as much information as there was in the news, but there really wasn't much outside of Bank of America went down. Wiped out people's accounts and left the debt. Not quite sure how that works. But if you have a Bank of America account, is your account up and running? Let me know in the comments. Again, I haven't seen much of it on online. Femina, if you want to get some of that, they're looking for Bank of America right now. Just wanted to see where we're at with that. So here again are the ways for you to partner with this amazing ministry. We are live and in person tonight in Texas with Dr. Paula Nietzsche and Pastor Jonathan Shuttlesworth. We are having 2 nights of miracle and healing services. Fort Worth Healing and Revival Crusade. We're there October 2nd, yesterday and tonight. So this is the final night. You can register at healingandrevivalcrusade.com. If you guys want to clear out from the back there, they're too loud. Thank you. October 2nd and the 3rd, 7 p.m. Central Time, 7200 Denton Highway, Watauga, Texas, 76148. And again, you could watch right on the app if you have it, or join us online, YouTube, and all of the other social media accounts. Whoop-dee-whoop. Do we have a a clip of last night by any chance? I think we should download it for you so you can see how powerful these meetings have been. Next. All right. Make America healthy again. Bobby Gordon, you know we had to go there, all right? And so each and every one of the Check the News episodes, we're going to incorporate something about health. And so this is really kind of near and dear to our hearts here at Revival Today, especially after COVID. We understood that it really wasn't about health. In fact, it's the opposite of that. And so people, you know, if you're going to incentivize vaccines with burgers and beer, then you know it really isn't about health. Amen? And so I wanted to kind of make this segment very special. Again, it's very near and dear to our hearts. We're going to be launching a gym very shortly in an effort to thwart the system, okay? The system wants you broke. The system wants you sick, right? It's how people make billions of dollars. And so now that people are starting to wake up to the schemes of the enemy, you know, we need to talk about it. We need to continue to shed light on some of these issues and bring help wherever we can. And so Revival Today, we are launching a gym, like I said. It's going to be, the hours are officially going to be from 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. And it's going to be for free for all of our members. We're going to be offering everything from, boot camp style classes to jujitsu. We have a litany, powerhouse lifting, and so much more. So stay tuned for all of the logistics as they are developing, even as we speak. We have 85% of the equipment, and so we're going to launch very soon. So stay tuned. I think this is going to be like, we're embarking on something very super special and very, very unique. But here it is, Making America Healthy Again, 1960 versus 2024. Is it a coincidence? Absolutely not. Next. All right, Joe Rogan, we need to wake up and make America healthy again. This is a post from yesterday. Let's take a look. Play.
One of the things we talked about yesterday with Brigham is the Make America Healthy Again movement, which is Robert Kennedy Jr. and a bunch of other folks that are involved in this. And it's exciting that this is gaining steam because people are concerned about their health and they are concerned about all the different chemicals that are in your food. But the problem is now that's been attached to right-wing ideology. So
Right.
people are calling people that are interested in that far-right people, and it's just...
If you're worried about food safety?
Yeah, it's nuts, man. But it's just because it's attached to Trump. It's because the Trump administration, Make America Great Again, and also Make America Healthy Again with Robert Kennedy Jr. He's involved in that. So people are just labeling that as some sort of alt-right and woo-woo. And it's not. It's dangerous for all of us. But we really need to wake up.
We have here Nim Cardi Lau on YouTube wants to know what the name of the app is. Can we get the screenshot of the app, please? Or rather the scan code. I'm such a boomer. I'm like, scan code. There you go. Nim Revival Today app. You should be able to find it just by typing in Revival Today, and you'll be able to see our little app with our logo on it. Next. Moving on. Make America Healthy Again. All right, so this is, first of all, I don't know how many times I have to tell people, can we change the dang laughter track? I mean, it's so cringy, for the love of Moses. So this is McAuliffe Reacts, and of course this is in an effort to keep me, full of life, okay? Because if you know anything about me, ADHD might be a thing. All right, so this is, now I didn't pull any of this content, the production team did, and so they do it in an effort to see how I will react. Typically, I don't react, and I just don't react, okay? I've probably seen things a dozen times, and so I'm not gonna laugh. I'm sure this is really exciting and fun for our viewers. They always talk about this in the comments or whatever. So let's do it for the viewers. Go.
Take 30 seconds. Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, you'll have, and it doesn't work very well with.
How tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough
is it? A lot of times,
tough business to
Oh,
run for
I know.
president.
You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the
You're
United
real
States
tough,
by
Jeb,
insulting
yeah?
your way to
well,
the
let's see.
presidency.
I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better.
Wow.
You know, you started
That
off
didn't
over
age
here,
well.
Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end. Like
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
It is, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Let me tell you, those are fan-freaking-tastic moments. But J.D. Vance for the win. I'm still shooketh to the core with his performance and some of the responses that he gave during that debate. I mean, 10 out of 10. Won't even get started. Wow. Next. Oh, brother. This is so whack. This is so whack. Oh, Lord. I've seen that one, and I wasn't supposed to laugh. Next. That's a lot of spit. That's a lot. Next. One more time. He got knocked out. I promise you, he must have gotten knocked out. I remember, did Pastor Jonathan ever go with us on, we were in Molokai in Hawaii, and we did some dirt biking on a mountain range in Molokai, and people were getting injured left and right. Things like that were happening all the time. I think Pastor Jonathan didn't go that time because he was smart, but he did do a 16-mile kayak right off of Molokai. And upon our return, we had the ministry that we were with. It was a camp. It was a youth camp, and they gave us little lunch bags for the kayak run. And so we would put you could put your lunch in your kayak, and then you'd go for the 16 miles on a kayak, And so after 16 miles under the whole hot Hawaiian sun, we opened up our lunch, and it was bologna and cheese sandwiches with mayonnaise. Okay. And so when you open the sandwich, the mayonnaise had turned into slime. It was the worst thing ever. And so Pastor Jonathan was so ravenous. He was stuck on a double kayak. I'll never forget this. This is burned in my brain. He had to share a tandem kayak with a heavy-set boy. At the time, Pastor Jonathan must have been 21, and so the kid was probably 15. But he was much heavier than Pastor Jonathan, and so the entire time, Pastor Jonathan is literally fighting for his life, and he's screaming at this 15-year-old, pick up the oar, paddle, paddle. So by the time he ended up getting back, he was taking all of those slimy sandwiches and he was pounding them down. I remember Pastor Dawson and we were just we're not eating this. We'd rather starve than eat that. And Pastor Jonathan was just ravenous. He was shaking. That's one of the few times that I've ever seen him do an extracurricular activity. Next.
What's wrong?
Daddy told me to do that.
What?
Daddy told me to do crack.
He what?
He told me to do crack.
Are you serious?
That's torture. Don't do that to her. Next.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Can you slow that down real quick? Play it again one more time, because I wasn't even looking. I'm how is he going to choose violence?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he doesn't like the camera.
Okay.
Can you guys check up on the app, please? Alicia says that it keeps getting stuck. Next. No more next. That concludes Megalis Reacts. Tanner, please call her a Republican. Yeah, no doubt. I would get just as offended. Independence all the way. Next. All right, more on Make America Healthy Again. This is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Of course, he is joining forces with Tulsi, the likes of Tulsi, Elon Musk. I mean, what a winning combination, or so you think. Joe Rogan, we need to wake up and make America healthy again. Is this the same clip? Play it. Let's see what this is.
One of the things we talked about yesterday with Brigham is the Make America Healthy Again movement, which is Robert Kennedy Jr. and a bunch of other folks that are involved in this. And it's exciting that this is gaining steam because people are concerned about their health and they are concerned about all the different chemicals that are in your food. But the problem is now that's been attached.
All right. Brigham Bueller explains to Joe Rogan the dire consequences if we don't get chronic disease under control in our country. This is something that I've been waiting to watch. Play.
Right now, the right is talking about this because of Bobby Kennedy, and I know that Trump is wanting to meet next week as a health expo to dive in and try and understand from people in the industry what's going on behind the scenes and how we're headed towards this chronic disease crisis. But what gets scarier is if we don't get this under wraps, we've got a rapidly aging patient population. We have a rapid decline in the amount of primary cares. You know, I talked about this last time. We're going to have a 30% shortage in primary cares, and it already takes 3 months to get in with a primary care. We're headed over a cliff. We have got to get chronic disease under control in this nation, and we got to do it fast.
Next. All right, wow, you must see this. At today's Roundtable on America's Health and Nutrition, Jason Karp showed the difference between Canada's Fruit Loop cereal and America's. They're literally poisoning our children, and this is exactly what RFK Jr. is talking about. Make America healthy again. Play.
Debate. But with artificial food dyes, they have shown all over the world that they can use colorants that come from fruit.
This is the Canadian version.
This is the brightness of the Canadian version, just for visibility. And this is the brightness of artificial food dyes.
Jeepers.
So, of course, Kellogg and other food companies will argue children prefer this over this, just as they would prefer cocaine over sugar. That doesn't make it okay.
But I think...
Next. Make America healthy again. Now, I'm not quite sure how much validity this is. Of course, it's a TikTok owned by China. But for your viewing pleasure, take a look.
A post about Gerber having metals in their baby food.
Does anybody have Gerber baby food that you can try to do this and let me know if this is actually legit? All right, let's get to it, sir. Get the medal. Is it legit or not? That can't be right. Is that legit? We don't really know. What? Holy moly. The electric cars exploded in hurricane. Water and batteries don't mix. In one instance, a car in the garage caught fire in their house, was gutted with fire. Yeah, I saw that, Marla. Yeah, that's correct. They're not very good in water. That's for sure. Next. If we want a resilient nation, if we want to have a prosperous nation, we have to fix the food. Next, or play.
This is what most Americans innocently put into their bodies these days, and most alarmingly, into the bodies of their children. And it's no coincidence that Americans die earlier than Canadians or Germans or Italians or Japanese or Koreans or Australians or most any other comparable country. And it wasn't always that way. Until the early 1990s, our life expectancy was the same or better than other developed countries. Then suddenly, more and more Americans began suffering from chronic diseases, from obesity, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. Our maternal mortality rate soared to the highest of any developed country on earth. Same with infant mortality. Like the frog in the slowly boiling water, we didn't really notice as we got sicker and sicker. We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm, and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? Well, a big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle. Let me show you what I mean. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Cap'n Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tetrazine, or yellow dye number 5. What you may not know is that this dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. A century ago, it was just an obnoxious industrial byproduct that everybody was trying to figure out ways to get rid of. One of the ways that they did that was by paving roads. But then a British chemist figured out that the coal tar could be used to derive fabric dye. And if fabric dye, why not food? Food manufacturers began using it to cover up the discoloration of low-quality foods that they wanted to pass off on unsuspecting customers. They didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries. Well, we know it now. We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. Today, it's made from petroleum, not coal tar. Either way, it's crazy to add this to your kids' favorite foods. It doesn't even change the flavor. This yellow dye isn't just in junk food. It's in the foods that we consider healthy. It's in everyday kids' snacks like popcorn, mac and cheese, fruit snacks. It's in sports drinks like Gatorade and so-called vitamin water. It's even added to chicken broth, to corn, to pickles, to mustard, and to yogurt. And so, of course, our kids get sick. And we lovingly feed them chewable vitamins which have, surprise, tartrazine. And so the cycle continues until the coughs and asthma kick in, at which point you go to pick up some cough syrup. And yeah, you guessed it, tartrazine. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food. I can make a video just like this to talk about Red 40, BHA, BHD, potassium bromate, chemical after chemical, and on and on and on. If just one of them can cause all of these problems, imagine what they're doing in combination. That's never been studied. If we took all of these chemicals out, our nation would get healthier immediately. Wow. We'd have fewer sick days. We'd have better focus. We'd have less anxiety. Our kids would learn more easily. We'd lose weight. We'd have more energy. We'd have fewer tumors and longer lives. It's not all dark. Over the past 16 years, the government has banned 8 chemical additives that cause cancer, genetic damage, asthma, and many of the other self-conditions as tartrazine does. And you know what's interesting? All 8 of those crucial steps forward in our kids' health were taken under President Trump. But the Democrats who claim to be all about health care have stood by watching other countries ban these poisons and make our kids sick, asthmatic, hyperactive, and depressed. They left them on every supermarket shelf in America. They even used your tax money to put them in your kids' school lunch. So their big food and their big ag donors probably gave them all that golden handshake and the big money hug. And their big pharma donors probably call them up and thank them also, because now they're going to make billions selling Adderall, Prozac, and rescue inhalers.
Come on now.
Enough is enough. President Trump and I are going to stop the mass poisoning of American children. Together, we're going to make America healthy again.
Unbelievable. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to clear out my shelves. Listen, and I feel like, most people just don't know about any of this. Mac and cheese, Tylenol, Mucinex, golly, tetrazine. All right. Eyes are open. I love this kind of content. I just really do. It's life-changing. Next. I'm with Maha. I don't know how you even say it. Make America Healthy Again. Let's take a look. Play.
Can we be real for a second?
Yes.
We have poisoned our food supply, engineered highly addictive chemicals that we put into our food. We spray it with pesticides that kill pests. What do you think they do to our gut lining and our microbiome? And then they come in sick. The GI tract is reacting. It's not an acute inflammatory storm. It's a low-grade chronic inflammation. And it makes people feel sick. We've done a terrible thing to doctors. We've told them, put your head down, focus on billing and coding. We're going to measure you by your throughput. And good job. You did a nice job. We have all these numbers to show for it. Well, the country is getting sicker. We cannot keep going down this path. We have the most over-medicated, sickest population in the world. And no one is talking about the root causes. Somebody has got to speak up. Maybe we need to talk about school lunch programs, not just putting every kid on obesity drugs like Ozempic.
Come on.
Maybe we need to talk about treating diabetes with cooking classes, not just throwing insulin at everybody. Maybe we need to talk about environmental exposures that cause cancer, not just the chemo to treat it.
Wow.
We've got to talk about food as medicine and research these areas.
A good app for you guys to use is Bobby Approved. And so you can scan the code and then up, comes all of the toxic chemicals that are found within whatever it is that you want to buy. And it's kind of depressing because you'd start scanning quite a bit of stuff and then you're like, oh my gosh, red dye, oh no, yellow dye, oh no, and so on and so forth. But absolutely, you got to target the food supply, and it's all by flippin' design. They want you sick. They want you sucking from the teat of the government. Therefore, there, I said it. Next. Is it possible to die from cringe? All right, shifting gears here quite a bit. What is this? It looks like Kamala is having a conversation with Obama. Let's take a look.
So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? Like, what's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce, he can go deep on that. He really does like those aviator glasses. He knows he looks good in them. But
Scary! That's interesting how that's the conversation that they choose to have. Next. The world is in flames. Let's talk about Biden's affinity for ice cream and pasta with red sauce. Anywho, listen, after this debate, the memes coming from the right are truly, and let me tell you, I look around. I'm pretty impartial as far as memes are concerned because I love a laugh. I love to laugh. I love a good laugh. The left really isn't doing much as far as memes are concerned other than trying to stifle memes altogether like in California. But this one is exquisite, and it was retweeted by Donald J. Trump himself. Trump actually posted this on Truth. And take a look, make it larger. I need a VP dumber than me. And then Biden says, I need a VP dumber than me. Let's wake up in the back. And Kamala says, I need a VP dumber than me. And then they seal the deal with that horrific photo of Tim Walz. Scary! But let me tell you, the memes are just fantastic. 6.4 million views as of yesterday. Next. The Marsh family from the UK releases an over 4-minute song praising Kamala Harris and bashing Donald Trump. The song is titled Gimme Hope, Kamala. It amassed 1.3 million views on YouTube. So let's hope that this is as cringy as it sounds. Do we have the video of it?
When old Donald used to run the country, he subdivision tried to build a wall. He made a few of his people wealthy. Oh, he don't care about the rest at all.
Why do they always have that look in their eye when they go to when they go to open their eyes? Because apparently they're all shut at this point. Take a look at very uncomfortable. I feel very, very uncomfortable watching this. Play.
He's got convictions, he did the nasty.
Look at her eyes. It's a waltz eye.
He's an oppressor of civil liberties, megalomaniac Republican.
Oh, give me hope, Kamala. Hope, Kamala, give me hope.
They don't even say her name right.
For the election, give me hope, Kamala. Hope, Kamala. Hope for beating Donald Trump. You see, she's safer than him with money. She'll try to regulate the sale of guns. She's bringing measures that offer hope, not fear, access to healthcare and abortion.
We know there's grief with the neighbors' borders, with climate change and immigration.
Pause.
Don't wanna...
Where are they from? Where are they from? The UK. All right. Disqualified. Next. How are you going to be from the UK and talk about what's happening here? Just stick to your own borders that are soon to be overrun by illegal immigrants as well. I knew it. I was like, what kind of accent is that? Hard pass. No thanks. All right, here we go. What is this? What flag is this, and why is their obesity rate so high? I keep seeing fat women use it. What country are they from? And it's the rainbow flag. Touche, Fidel Cashflow. That's actually a pretty sweet name. Next.
I am actually not a Trump.
All right, so here we go. Show me footage of Ukraine that looks worse than this. I would love to see that. Now we're going on 3 or 4 years with this war in Ukraine, and I have seen 0 footage of Ukraine. I know that there's been a lot of, deaths, but again, we don't see any of it. We don't see any of it. There's no footage. They don't show anything. Nothing, none of it. Now take a look. This is in your backyard in North Carolina. Take a look.
Guys, this is fucking unreal.
All right, let's stop again, and I don't know how else to say it. Let's not put videos up that we haven't vetted. Thank you. Next. Holy snap. Kamala says they'll provide $700, listen to this, $750 to families affected by the hurricane. Now, let me remind you of what they did to Hawaiians as well with the big fire that happened in Maui. They did the same exact thing. I mean, what in the world is this? Play.
Included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel.
$750. What do you want to do with that when your house is in shambles and you can't even get to a grocery store? $750. I mean, it's harder and harder to prove that that administration doesn't want to make America last. Because we're seeing it unfold before our very eyes. $750. Same thing in Maui. Absolutely disgraceful. She should be ashamed of herself to actually even say that. I would have chalked it. I would have, Mayorkas, you're going to be, breaking the news that everybody's getting $750 from FEMA. That's embarrassing. Next. When you need to carry your shot 170 yards over a pond, but your maximum distance is 160. I love tour golf. That's a great one. Next. Which reminds me, it's hard to stop thinking about my elk hunt. So for my birthday, I was gifted a elk hunt. My sister and I were gifted an elk hunt in New Mexico. And let me tell you, it was one for the books. Absolutely thrilling. She and I were able to score an elk. And so the meat is coming soon. So it takes about a week in order for them to process all of the meat. We got the best of the best. Can we get a picture of me with my elk, please? It was absolutely thrilling. I got a buck, or rather not a buck, although I really want a buck this year as well. But I got a bull elk, and it was 6 points on one side, 5 points on the other, and it was 210 yards away. We were able to use rifle. It was in the middle of their rut, and it was absolutely thrilling. I mean, they were bugling far off on the distance, and every single morning, 4:30 in the morning, we would go out and start, stalking some of the elk, and it was just poetry. I mean, as the sun goes up and you're in the middle of the desert, and they're bugling and they're calling each other, and it was absolutely a life-changing experience. That's our guide, James. He's from the Apache Nation, Mescalero Apache. And it was 10 out of 10 experience. I'm telling you right now, if this is something, if you're a hunter, which we also have in our church, we have a hunters group that meets. This was my vision board in 2023. Little did I know that my dreams would come true this year. This was only about a week ago, and so there I am with my elk. And so I told our guide that the first song that popped up in the radio would give me the name of my bull elk. And so his name is Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer. So I have to get a plaque, and that's going to be his name, Sixpence None the Richer. But absolutely amazing experience. We also were able to golf in Mescalero. There was a fantastic golf course there. I mean, absolutely thrilling. I mean, it was amazing. Isn't that awesome, Andrew? Thank you. So hopefully, I'm sure I'm getting that shoulder mounted. So it takes about, 6 or 7 months for that to happen. And then they're going to ship it to me. I'm not quite sure what kind of shipping container you use to ship something that size. But once the meat comes, I think we're going to have a barbecue here at the church. And we're going to share some meat. Because what am I supposed to do with 500 pounds of meat? Let's be honest. Next breaking. 2 killed, 4 injured in Israeli airstrike targeting towns in eastern Lebanon. State-run news agency. So things are it's looking like it's just getting started in Lebanon. And so we're going to keep an eye on that in the days and weeks to come. Next. All right, new World War II bomb explodes at a Japanese airport after being buried for 80 years. What is going on? The explosion caused a massive crater and led to 80 canceled flights as Miyazaki Airport in southwestern Japan. The 20-foot wide crater was caused by a 500-pound World War II bomb. Why now? Why now? Is this just not the most bizarre thing you've seen today? The 20-foot wide crater was caused by a 500-pound World War II bomb. It's unclear why exactly the bomb suddenly detonated. Hundreds of tons of unexploded bombs from the war remain buried around Japan and are sometimes dug up at construction sites, the New York Post reports. Golly. Play. Mighty. The timing of this is just impossible. What is going on? Simulation. Next. Holy moly. Crazy. What's going on with China and Taiwan as well? Now that things are starting to steam up in the Middle East. Next. A woman walked up to me while we were filming and said she needed to get something off her chest. Take a look.
I am actually not a Trump fan. I think that he is narcissistic, he's egotistical, he's cruel. I don't like the way that he treats people. However, when I heard that Biden was no longer going to run, I was so hopeful that we would have a stand-up person to represent our country, and it's not Kamala. One of our family members was talking to us about how he chose his surgeon, and he chose a very narcissistic surgeon who is very good at what he does. He said that he ended up making this choice not because he was kind, but because he was too egotistical to let himself fail on a life-threatening surgery. And I feel that way about Trump. I feel like even though, unfortunately, even though he is narcissistic, I feel like he is too egotistical not to protect our country, and protection is what we need right now. And in the world that we're living in, I feel like Trump is the right person.
Golly, that's pretty good. Good for you for changing your mind on your stance. Next. Someone said, elk stew, add some New Mexico green chilies, dynamite. One of the things we would go, before we would go on, at 4:30 in the morning, we'd have breakfast, and then we were given like these little knapsacks of lunch, and they would give you a sandwich, 2 sandwiches, they would give you a bag of chips, they would give you drinks and all that kind of stuff, and then a zip-locked New Mexico chili. It was like a green chili, and every single lunch you could have a green chili with it. So cute. All right, listen, if you haven't partnered with this ministry, now is your chance. So let's get this stuff out of the way. Actually, we don't have that much time left, so let's just do it. First of all, before we even get to the donation page, tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time, rather 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Healing and Revival Crusade kicks off in Watauga, Texas. Register at healingandrevivalcrusade.com with Pastor Jonathan and Dr. Paul Anici. Last night, there was about 1,200 people in-house, so you want to make sure that you get there nice and early and reserve your seat. Do it. Healing and revivalcrusade.com. Absolutely fantastic. We're looking forward to watching it again. Do we have a clip from last night's service? And then we also have a church that we want to invite you to. We've got a Pittsburgh campus and a Fort Worth campus. Pittsburgh campus meets at 1442 Coriopolis Heights Road in Moon Township, PA, 15108 at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning. We also have a sister campus in Fort Worth, 7200 Denton Highway in Watauga, Texas, 76148, which meets at 9 a.m. Central Time. We'd love to see you there. Shake your hand. It's going to be an amazing month, an amazing 40 days, which of course we today officially we launched out in cable network. Let's put the 40 days up with all the different channels that we're on and all of the ways that you can watch 40 Days of Faith for America. And I think the timing is totally supernatural, especially since October 1st. We were greeted with rumors of war, all right? So here it is. We're on the Buy channel in 84, channel 283 on Dish. We've got WBN America, channel 21. And we have Dish Direct TV. We're on radio. We're on live on all the social media platforms. Here we go. And we're going to be live 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time daily, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time nightly, and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Real America's Voice. So it's kind of a whirlwind, but that's it. We're on all of these platforms, just shedding some light and hope, especially in the next 40 days, right before election. If you haven't registered to vote, make sure you do that. Make sure you show up and you vote. Praise the Lord. Here are the ways that you can give if you've never partnered with Arrival today. We're an amazing ministry. amazing ministry full of amazing pastors, and we've got 2 church campuses, 1 to come. Yes, I'm getting hungry, Luana. 1 to come potentially in the Detroit, Chicago area. And so we're really excited. More that information is forthcoming. Here are the ways that you can give. We've got Zelle, info@revivaltoday.com. There's still no update on Bank of America, by the way. Nobody has sounded off as well. So maybe you guys don't do business with Bank of America like everybody else. We've got Venmo @RTGive, revivaltoday.com. We've got PayPal. #donate on Facebook. You can text RT to 50155. We've got a litany of cryptocurrencies that you can give. You could scan the code or just go to revivaltoday.com/give for all of the information. And you can mail in a check at Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. As a way for us to say thank you, here are your t-shirt options. Boo, knucklehead. His words, not mine. Next. We got I become friends with school shooters. Again, his words, not mine. Next. I like how J.D. Vance was in the bottom corner with his little shades on. And of course, this final t-shirt, which I think is going to be a hit for all of you guys that work out in gyms. I think it's just like 10 out of 10. All right. Don't forget, after you've donated, to go, this is a very pivotal part. Please fill out the Claim Your Offer form at revivaltoday.com/offer. And of course, all of this is while supplies last. So if you have any questions, let's go back to the numbers. Call 412-446-2332. All right, Alicia says, Bank of America says the widespread service outages have been fully restored. Praise the Lord. All right, Marissa says her Bank of America account is up and running. That is good news and a great way to end today's show. If you have a recap that we can leave on for people to see what we're all about on Sunday, then you can play that. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.
The devil may have written the first chapter of your life, but you and Jesus are going to write the final chapter, and it's going to be a glorious chapter.
It's impossible for the seed of God's word not to reproduce. The Bible says first the blade, then the ear, then the full corn on the ear. Boy, am I glad I didn't quit in 2009 or 2007 when it looked like I was going nowhere. Oh no, first the blade. Don't worry about it if you're just a blade, because soon comes the ear, then comes the full corn on the ear. I see the people in this church taking over. Pittsburgh, Fort Worth, South Lake, Keller, Dallas. You're going to be blessed everywhere your foot treads in Jesus' name. If you receive that, do what you're already doing. Clap your hands, all ye people.
Anything you want in God is possible. It depends on how badly you want it, how desperately you want it.
There's enough firepower in this church to blow the devil's sorry rear end straight back out of America. The devil will not have this place. Signs, wonders, miracles, signs, wonders, miracles. I see them increasing. I see the glory coming under this tent.
When you begin to shout fire and speak in tongues, the fire will cause you to stand from your wheelchair. The fire will burn the spirit of blindness, the spirit of deafness, the lumbar corset will go, the breast tumor will melt, the cancer will dry. Hey! 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 Ay, 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 ay.
Woo! None of you are leaving here today the way you came. Not one person.